Hello, Magic Casters of all shapes and sizes. My name is Chance. Welcome to my spellbook, and thank you so much for tuning into the 52nd episode of our first level spell series. Today we're looking at a particularly cool one. Before I get too far ahead, I just want to make a quick note that this is not directed at a child audience. So if you are 13 or younger by the US definition, I'm going to ask you to click off this channel and click on to another. Nothing personal, it's just a YouTube thing. With that out of the way, we are going to be taking a look at Jim's Magic Missile. It is usable only by the wizard, and it is found in the Acquisitions Incorporated book, which I would highly recommend getting, by the way. There's a lot of cool spells in there, there's a new race in there, there's a ton of backgrounds in there, as well as a great written story too. Acquisitions Incorporated, unpopular opinion, I actually prefer them over Critical Role. That being said, I know that's going to be a point of controversy. In any case, let's move on to the spell's mechanics. So your damage is 2 die 4 per dart. And you get an additional dart per spell slot level above first. So pretty cool, a little bit different than the other spells we've looked at so far, but really cool regardless. The effect at a glance is as followed. You send 3 darts towards a target of your choice, each is a separate attack roll. On a crit, they deal 5 die 4 damage, and on a natural 1, all darts miss and you take 1 force damage per dart. Wow. The cast time is 1 action, the range is a godly 120 feet, the duration is instantaneous, the components are somatic, material, and verbal. If you're curious about that material component, by the way, it is considered to be a royalty component, or 1 gold piece, so pretty cool. The school is evocation, and the damage type is force, which is super nice and echoes that of traditional magic missile. Really cool stuff there. Let's take a look at the full description here and just break it down a little bit more for us. Any apprentice wizard can cast a boring old magic missile. Sure, it always strikes its target. Do away with the drudgery of your grandfather's magic with this improved version of the spell as used by Jim Dark Magic. You create 3 twisting, whistling, hypoallergenic, gluten-free darts of magical force. Each dart targets a creature of your choice that you can see within range. Make a ranged spell attack for each missile. On a hit, a missile deals 2 die 4 force damage to its target. If the attack roll scores a critical hit, the target of that missile takes 5 die 4 force damage instead of you rolling damage twice for a critical hit. If the damage attack roll for any missile is a 1, all missiles miss their targets and blow up in your face, dealing 1 force damage per missile to you. At higher levels, when you cast this spell using a spell slot of 2nd level or higher, this spell creates 1 more dart, and the royalty component increases by 1 GP for each spell slot level above first. Wow, really cool stuff there. I love Acquisitions Incorporated, the entire C team, so funny, and this spell is another great example of that. I just love the way it's worded. That being said, it's kind of one of those high risk versus high reward scenarios. I mean, I think 2 die 4 per missile is incredible, so that is a grand total of 6 die 4. Really good stuff. And if any of your attacks roll to be a crit, that's 5 die 4, essentially almost doubling the capability of the spell with 1 critical hit. That being said, if you roll a natural 1, all of them miss and you take force damage, 1 force damage for each missile, which based on your current circumstances could either end you or cause you to lose concentration. So high risk versus high reward. I really like this in a lot of ways. I like the fact you can target more than 1 person. That opens it up in terms of some alternative uses, which is really important. That being said, though, I mean, I do think this is a great one. Whether or not it would work for all characters, no, probably not, but I would still take it in mind for sure. That being said, let's take a look at some alternative uses here. I kind of mentioned it earlier, but the best alternative use I could think of is this would be a great way to clear a large number of targets, especially if they have a pretty low hit die pool, things like goblins, kobolds, any of the smaller kind of early on adventures, the early adventuring creatures that you typically run into during those first 3-4 levels. This is a great spell, it scales really well with levels 2, and it's just a good thing to have in your back pocket when the going gets tough. With that in mind, there's a couple ways to cheese this spell just a little bit. For example, if you're playing a halfling, you don't have to worry about that one roll. So I think that might be a great way to kind of get around it. This would also pair incredibly well with a sorcerer's subtle spell ability to be able to cast this as a bonus action, and then take a high damaging cantrip like Toll the Dead, for example, as your action, and potentially finish off someone who's barely left standing after the magic missile attack. I think that'd be great. Warcasters could also greatly benefit from this so long as they're targeting one creature. It's just an immense amount of damage output, and that potential for a crit is super great. Yeah, that's pretty much my thoughts on it in a nutshell. There's also the potential for this to stack really well with the Rogue's Assassin ability, so I'd bear that in mind when you're building these characters as well. In any case, guys, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, thoughts, opinions, please put them down beneath in the comments section. I really do appreciate it, and it really helps the community blossom and grow, and everyone's super friendly. That being said, I'd like to thank our 2 patrons. We got a new one since the last video, so Marcos G. Gunsman Jr., thank you so much, and Reina, thank you so much for joining as well. If you want to join our Patreon, there's the link down in the description. It's super great. There's a ton of awesome rewards there, one of which for the top tier is a hand-drawn picture of your D&D character. I have an example posted up. It's done by the wonderful Shannon Clark. There's a description of her website down below if you want to check out her work, see what she's capable of. That being said, guys, thank you so much for tuning in today. I really do appreciate it. If you'd like to chat with us further or get to know myself or the rest of the group here, we do daily live streams between 10 o'clock and 11 o'clock Mountain Standard Time, so please feel free to join us. We'd love to have you. In any case, I hope you'll have a wonderful day, and as always, happy casting.